Alright, Lashtail Monk, boys. I'm going to teach you all how to use this thing. Now, Lashtail for the Monk is probably, as of patch 2.4.2, probably the best speed farming build you can do. I mean, look at this shit, you know, one roundhouse, Lashtail kick, and at least just die. Pop. They just pop. It's an incredible build. There's a lot of tweaks that you can do yourselves depending on your playstyle. Like, look at this shit. Like, it just slices through elites so easily. It's a great build to get early on, a great armor set to get, the Sunwuko set. If you get it early on, it's definitely great for speed farming XP, all that sort of shit. You can see me here picking up Death's Breath and legendaries. If you're someone that's not too fussed about items, you're farming XP, this is gonna just obliterate shit. So just wanted to show you guys a quick example. We'll kill another couple of elite packs and then we'll get into town and show you all what's involved with this so you can start lashtailing shit as well. Look at that. Elites just don't mean shit, boys. So you guys get the idea. Let's head into town, go through our gear and go through our skills so you guys can start lashtailing shit as well, and then you guys can tell me how you went in the comments section. Let's go! We're here, we're ready, let's fucking go! Alright, so first thing we're going to start off with is the 6-piece bonus. I'm going to go through that real quick. So for 2 pieces, your damage taken is reduced by 50% while Sweeping Wind is activated. Now, or what is while active. Sweeping fucking Wind is the most annoying part of this build because it dishes out all of our damage with Lashtail, but every time we Lashtail we lose a stack of Sweeping Wind. Now I know I'm probably getting into this a bit early, but it's damn fucking annoying. If it wasn't for that, this would really be an awesome build. I hope Blizzard fixes it. Yeah, definitely losing a stack of Sweeping Wind each freaking time you Lashtail is a little bit excessive. But anyway, for four pieces, boys, every second Sweeping Wind spawns a decoy next to the last enemy you hit that taunts nearby enemies and then explodes for 1000 weapon damage for each stack of Sweeping Wind you have. Again, the more stacks, the more damage we do, but every time we Lashtail, we lose stacks. So there's ways to remedy this and keep stacks as high as possible, which I'll be getting into. And for the 6-set bonus, Slashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, Wave of Light, consume a stack of Sweeping Wind to deal 3000% increased damage. This is what I was talking about. It consumes a stack of Sweeping Wind, and sometimes it can be hard getting stacks back. And if you lose your stacks, then you lose your 2-set bonus, which is 50% damage reduction. And it just becomes so squishy and you just die all the time. But trust me, you'll get used to it. Follow my guide, you'll be alright, boys. You'll be alright. I'll explain a lot of the variables, a lot of the options that you can do along the way as well. So let's get into skills. We're using, now, Lashing Tail Kick, obviously we're going to use as our primary damage dealer. I am using Sweeping Armada. Now the reason I'm using Sweeping Armada is a lot of you are saying, you should be using Vulture Claw Kick. Yeah, Vulture Claw Kick does do more damage, no doubt about it. Vulture Claw Kick is your damage dealer here, but with Sweeping Armada, it unleashes a large roundhouse kick that is effective against a large group of enemies, so it increases your radius and that increases your chance of keeping Sweeping Wind active, because if you crit shit around you, it regenerates your Sweeping Wind stacks, okay? We'll get into this as we go. If you guys are brand new to the Monk Sunwuko, you're not going to have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about, but you're going to get it, trust me. My suggestion is try both. Maybe try Vulture Claw Kick first. If you're running out of Sweeping Wind stacks, that's the most important part of this build. You cannot run out of stacks. Then switch to Sweeping Armada, and I think you'll definitely be impressed. You can definitely keep your Sweeping Wind stacks up a lot better with Sweeping Armada. But again, up to you guys. You'll definitely be using one of those two. We're using Dashing Strike with Blinding Speed. You can also use Way of the Falling Star. If you're not taking that much damage and you're pretty comfortable staying alive, then definitely change to Way of the Falling Star. If you're a bit squishy, you're new to this build, you're new to this set, then definitely go with Blinding Speed. You'll increase your dodge chance after using Dashing Strike, so you'll avoid a bit more damage there. We're using Blinding Flash with Faith in the Light. This is ultra very, very important, boys. What this does is actually replenish our spirit. Now, you're not going to get exactly why it replenishes our spirit, but you will in a second. As far as Blinding Flash goes and the rune, we're using Faith in the Light, and that increases our damage for a short duration. So when we use Blinding Flash, we blind our enemies, increase damage, and with that item that we have equipped, equipped, we also will replenish our spirit. So very, very important skill. If you don't understand what I'm talking about yet, just wait till we get up to our armor items. Sweeping Wind with Inner Storm, definitely using Inner Storm. You gain Spirit whenever the Vortex is at 3 or more stacks. We're going to have up to 10 stacks, boys. Up to 10 stacks, and you'll know why once we go through our gear. Epiphany with Desert Shroud, as always, we use with most monk builds. And to begin with, if your gear isn't the best and you're still not sure about this build, definitely go with Mantra of Salvation and Agility. This increases our dodge and will reduce damage taken, okay? Increases dodge and increases our resistance to all elements. Passive skills, we're going to be using Determination. Exalted Soul, definitely, because this freaking build drains our spirit so damn easy. It's not even funny. Like, seriously. That's me Lashtail and kick. Spirit's gone. Just like that. Probably like 3 or 4 Lashtail kicks. It's just gone. So, we're going to have to try and replenish our spirit however possible. Go with Exalted Soul. It'll help you out a little bit. Harmony and Bacon of Yitzhak. Bacon. Turkey bacon, boys. This goes out to my bacon buddy that loves the turkey bacon like I do. Now, we're going to get into the items now. We're definitely 100% going to have to use the Gianna Nakashu. Now, Gianna Nakashu, not only does it have a legendary stat there, which Lashing Tail releases a piercing fireball that deals 13-27% weapon damage as fire to enemies within 10 yards. Yeah, that's great and everything, but it also can increase our Lashing Tail kick by up to, I think, 100%. Now, this is 89%. Obviously, I can get a better roll, but guys, we're using this mostly because of that huge damage increase to Lashing Tail kick, Lash Tail kick, Lashing Tail kick, whatever you want to call it, and we're whacking in a cooldown reduction gem into the helm. Now, as far as the set items go, we're using the shoulders, we're using the gloves, we're using the chest piece, and we're using the legs. Now, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're also using the amulet, all right? Very, very important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And obviously, we've got the Ring of Royal Grandeur in Kanai's Cube, which I'll get to shortly. Now, ultra important, wherever you can, boys, anywhere you can, any freaking item, we must try and get critical hit chance as high as possible. As you can see, most of my items will have critical hit chance, and that is because it's so damn important. When we have Sweeping Wind activated and we Lashtail kick, we lose a stack. Obviously, you saw how important Sweeping Wind is with all of the set bonuses and all of the effects that it has on us, the damage reduction, the damage increase, all that shit. We need to keep up our stacks, and critical hit chance, the more we crit, the more we actually reapply stacks to Sweeping Wind, alright? So critical hit chance, intensify the vortex, and it also will give us a stack back, okay? So make sure you have critical hit chance wherever possible. It's ultra important. Braces, I'm using Ancient Path and Defenders, again, has critical hit chance there, and this will basically reduce our damage taken to any enemy that's stunned within 25 yards. The belt, which is very important, Kiyoshiro's Soul. Now, Sweeping Wind gains 2 stacks every second. It does not do damage to any enemies. So worst case, if we run out of stacks, get the hell away from your enemies. Just like dashing strike out of there. Wait a few seconds. You'll replenish your Sweeping Wind and get back in there and start Lashtailing shit. That's why I said critical hit chance is so important. So when you're in big packs of enemies, you're Lashtail kicking, there's a bigger chance that you'll crit because there's more enemies around you, and you'll replenish your stacks that way. Very, very important. Not suited to everybody's playstyle. Personally, I'm not a huge fan the way Blizzard have designed this. I don't like having to run out of packs and then run back in, waiting for my Sweeping freaking Wind to regenerate. Don't like it, but hey, that's the way it's working at the moment. You got to make it work. The rings, we're using Unity. Obviously, we're going to use a Unity with our follower as well to reduce another 50% damage. We're using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, ultra important for our cooldown reduction, guys. We need to be casting Blinding Flash as often as possible, as well as Epiphany, of course. Now, onto the weapons, the important shit. No, actually, we'll go through the boots first. What we're using is the Rivera Dancers. Now, Lashing Tail kick attacks 50% faster and deals 272% increased damage. So again, faster attacks and a lot more damage. Very, very handy there. Rivera Dancers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set items with Ring of Royal Grandeur and Kanai's Cube, and we're good to go, boys. Nearly. Alright, weapon time. Scarbringer. This is the main change with patch 2.4.2. They've actually changed this. I don't think it had any legendary stat at all, but now it has damage of Lashing Tail Kick is increased by 300% to the first 6 enemies hit. Now, that legendary stat can be between 5 and 7 enemies. Now, I've rolled a 6, so it's kind of in between. You'd preferably want 7. If you're going to use this build long term, then definitely try and roll a 7. But either way, very, very must have this item for this build. It will not work without this item, believe me. The other weapon we're using is Vengeful Wind. Again, ultra important. Increase the maximum stack count of Sweeping Wind by 6. Again, this one can go between 5 and 7. I've scored a freaking 6 again. 6, 6, 6. If I had 7, I'd be able to get up to 10 stacks. As I have it now, I get 9 stacks maximum, and as you can see, it's stacked up really quickly. So now we can go into a pack of enemies and start attacking. If we run out of stacks, let's say we're Lashtail kicking, look at those stacks drop, you know what I mean? They drop rather quickly. We need to replenish our spirit and then get back in there, get back into enemies. If Sweeping Wind is damaging any enemies, it will not replenish your stacks. So you need to get the fuck out of there. Yeah, kind of annoying, isn't it? It sounds annoying already, even if you guys haven't played it. And I'm pretty sure that covers all of our gear. Definitely covers all of our gear. The belt is so ultra important. I mean, Sweeping Wind gains 2 stacks every second. It does not deal damage to enemies. Ultra important. This is why you replenish your stacks so quickly when you get the fuck out of those packs if you've already wasted your Sweeping Wind stacks. So must have this belt. There aren't really any items I wouldn't have here. Even if you don't have either Scarbringer or Vengeful Wind equipped, you definitely have to have these in Kanai's Cube, or one equipped, one in Kanai's, whatever. Your other option is maybe having Injiom into one of these and then having the other into Kanai's Cube, but totally up to you, totally up to your playstyle. Now let's talk about Kanai's Cube. As you can see, Sweeping Wind just keeps going on forever, it just keeps restacking, which is great, but like I said, if enemies were around and we're Lashtail kicking, killing them, we lose Sweeping Wind stacks. But that's why I told you about the rune that we're using. It increases the radius, and if it increases the radius, we're hitting more enemies, more chance for a critical hit chance, more chance to restack our stacks. That's a lot of stacking. Alright, Kanai's Cube, weapon, Injiom. This is very optional. Injiom I like because as soon as you kill an elite, your cooldowns are reduced by 10 seconds for 15 freaking seconds. That's quite a long time. In 15 seconds you can probably find another elite pack and just have like unlimited freaking cooldown reduction almost. But 10 seconds is huge. You'll pretty much be able to blinding flash anything anytime you want. You'll never run out of spirit, and you'll be in Epiphany most of the time as well. So very, very handy and works very well with this build. You can go with the Furnace, totally up to you. You can probably go with Flying Dragon as well for extra damage. Totally up to you and your playstyle. Armor. This is probably non-negotiable though. The Laws of Seth. When you use Blinding Flash, you restore 165 spirit. Without this, we do not replenish spirit. So this shit here replenishes our spirit just like that. And if Injiom is active, then we just keep replenishing spirit. Bang, bang, bang. It'll just keep going. So we won't run out of spirit, and that's what you want, because Lashing Tail just fucking drains your spirit so quickly. So yeah, non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. You must have that, otherwise this will not work. Same goes with the Ring of Royal Grandeur, because we've got the Riveras here, and we've also got the Jian and Nakashu. Yeah, you have to have these 2 items definitely to make this build work. Why would you give one of these up? You just wouldn't. It's just too much damage to give up. You wouldn't do it. So you'd rather have the Ring of Royal Grandeur to get your 6 set bonus. There you have it, boys. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much everything. Now, someone mentioned I didn't go through Paragons in a previous video, so I'm going to do it now. Paragon points. You want to make sure that you have 25% capped movement speed. I don't have any movement speed in any of my items. Usually you got 12% in your boots, and you'd have 13 in your Paragon points. I don't have any in my boots, no points in movement speed at all. So full 25 there. Everything else in Dex. Offense, depending on whether you can max out everything or not, you may not be able to. We definitely want to go with critical hit chance first. Like I mentioned, we want to keep those Sweeping Wind stacks up as much as possible, as often as possible. Everything into critical hit chance, then critical hit damage, and then cooldown reduction, and then attack speed in that order. As you can see, I'm maxed out. so it doesn't affect me. With the defense, we want to go resist all, armor, then life regen in that order. Utility, area damage, oh so important. Lashtail kick will have a wider, even wider radius, so make sure that you put everything into area damage first, then resource cost reduction, and then life on hit, and then gold find lastly there, boys. So I'm pretty sure I've gone through everything now. Oh no, gems. Ooh, lucky I remembered. So like I mentioned, we're using the cooldown reduction gem. We're using the dexterity emerald gems in everything else, and definitely in the main hand to increase critical hit damage. But if you guys are dying, or if you're trying to do greater rifts or something like that, you can put in the diamond gems into your items here to increase your resist all elements. Definitely you can go resist all. There's nothing wrong with that because it does a lot of damage already, this build. There's no shame with going resist all, but totally up to you. Try dexterity first. Nothing like more damage and more armor. If it doesn't work for you, you can go to resist all. These gems that we're using Bane of the Trapped. We're using Gorgok of Swiftness, obviously for more cooldown reduction per stack of Swiftness. It's all about cooldown reduction. And Bane of the Stricken, again, you know, Bane of the Stricken maybe you can swap out for Esoteric Alteration if you're dying, but I'd definitely keep these two. I think they work very well with this build. And now I'm pretty confident that we've gone through everything. Give it a go, guys, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video if you like it and if it was helpful. And be sure to come back for my set dungeon guide, because that's going to be next. Until then, boys, happy monster slaying.